Hi, I'm Jonathan Parker.
And I'm Andrew Adams.
And we're here from Parker Adams Boat Sales today to show you this, a 2007, yes, a 2007 Sadler 290. And I'm going to show you the benefits of this yacht, as well as the machinery it has to offer, and we're going to talk a little bit about the history of this yacht.
And from my point of view, what I'm going to do is just walk you through the accommodation, talk a little bit about the sailing ability of this boat and the specifications and the options list, which is pretty extensive on this boat. So this boat, when it was first bought, was pretty much ticked every single options box, and I'll run through what that means for the new owner and how this boat is put together.
So the Sadler 290 is no relation to the older Sadler yachts designed by David Sadler and Martin Sadler. This was built in 2007, and Rampart Yachts of Southampton, United Kingdom, bought the Sadler brand and teamed up with a renowned yacht designer, Stephen Jones. And in 2004, at the Southampton Boat Show, this 290 was first shown and became a very popular boat and had rave reviews in a lot of the marine press at the time. They did a production run of just 50 290s up until 2008, when unfortunately the Rampart Yachts went into administration. They had plans to make a slightly larger yacht, but it never came to fruition. The benefit of this Sadler 290 though is that it is a sub 30-foot boat, but with the ocean going capability, and it actually has an RCD rating, Recreational Craft Directive rating, of Category A ocean, and it's been designed to be actually to have 7 people in 7-meter waves up to a Beaufort scale force 10. Now the Sadler 290 is an ocean-going yacht, but it is still a bilge keel. It has 2 lead-weighted keels, and the bottom is also copper-bottomed. But it's very unusual to have a sub 30-foot boat that is ocean-going Category A rated and be a bilge keeler. So in fact, this yacht actually, for a couple, a small family, a short-handed person, someone single-handed sailing, is the perfect size because it's a go-anywhere boat. And whoever purchases this boat will benefit greatly from the options list this has to offer.
So something that really struck me about this boat when I first came on board is actually the size. And in fact, I queried a couple of times with Jonathan that it was actually a 29-footer. So up until only about 6 months ago, I used to have a 36-foot sailing boat, and the space down below on that was obviously surmountable to a 36-foot sailing boat. But coming down here, I was massively surprised. I expected it to feel very small and perhaps a little bit claustrophobic to what I was used to. Actually, the opposite's true. It's a really, really nice space to be. And although it's quite narrow, the space here is fantastic. You've got really high quality wooden joinery throughout. And you've got a huge aft cabin here with a big, large, king-size double bed. Now this particular boat is a one owner from new boat, and I think that's really obvious when you look around. You can just see that every part of the boat is looked after. The upholstery is absolutely immaculate. The woodwork is in perfect condition, and everything smells new. Actually, when we're up in the cockpit, it's really nice to just look around and see that every surface has been polished. Every surface has been loved and looked after. So let me show you through some of the cabins. This is the main saloon area, and plenty of space here. You've got a chart table here to work from and all of the instrumentation, which I'll zoom in on. And then just behind me here, you have the galley. Quite a nice design here that the galley is set back a little bit. So again, you've got this much bigger space than it feels. So when we walk back here into the galley, I go all the way back here, and I've still got full head height here and lots of space to work around. You've got a fridge here, which is top-mounted fridge, so it drops down to have the space. Lots and lots of storage around here. You're obviously gimbaled hob and oven here, so when you're out at sea heeling over, the hob and oven stays perfectly still. This boat really is an absolutely fantastic example of this Sadler 290. Let me show you around a bit more of the accommodation. So here I am in the aft cabin. Quite a lot of sailing boats have the aft cabin with the bed running all the way across. Now that's good, however what you end up doing is losing some of the space in the lazarette locker. We'll show you that a bit later. The lazarette locker on this boat is really, really big. And by running the bed this way, you've actually managed to get an aft porthole right at the stern of the boat, which is a lovely view when you wake up in the morning to look out the stern of the boat. All the joinery in here is really, really high quality, and the attention to detail in all the fittings, the fixings, everything is really nice. As I've mentioned, this boat is a one owner from new boat, and it just feels like it. Everything has been really well cared for, and this is clearly a boat that somebody has really, really loved. The upholstery here, the bed is absolutely immaculate condition. This boat has been sailed a lot, it's done a lot of miles, but you would not know it. It's been absolutely cherished and loved. So I'm here in the fore cabin, and it's a really good sized fore cabin. It narrows slightly towards the front as you'd expect being a bow cabin, but it's very, very light and airy. Just up here you've got a high quality deck hatch, and you also got light coming in from a window here. I say light coming in, not today because the blind's pulled down, but you could just lift that up and it makes it a really nice light airy space. The bit that I'm sitting on here lifts up to make it an okay sized double. You'd certainly fit 2 people in here, and again, I keep talking about this upholstery, but I really can't explain it. It looks brand new. This boat has been incredibly well cared for. Also in this you have a full-size hanging locker space, and just inside here you have the heads. I'll show you a bit more about the heads in a second. I'm in the heads now, and it is quite a small heads this. However, the thing that is really noticeable is the light streaming in. Just above me here I've got another deck hatch, and there's also a window here. Again, lots of light, but you do have a privacy blind in there. You've got a sea toilet here, and then also a sink with hot and cold water, and this whole room actually doubles up as a wet room. So there's a shower there which is in the sink, which can be pulled out to use this room as a shower room as well. There's also a cupboard here, and inside that cupboard there's just a little bit of dry storage space. You can put something if you didn't want it getting wet while you're having a shower. So although it's small, it's got everything that you need, and there's also a mirror in here. We've mentioned it quite a few times about the one owner from new, but something else you quite often find on boats that have changed hands multiple times is that some of the documentation gets mislaid. One of the owners takes it off, puts it in their loft, has good intentions of returning it to the boat when it's sold. Not the case with this. One owner from new, so even the owner's manual is on board in its original form. That's where Jonathan got all the information earlier about the seaworthiness of this boat and what the specifications are from new. Everything is in here, all of the electrical systems, everything that you need to refer to on the boat, all of the systems, all detailed here and kept on board the boat.
As with most sailing yachts, the engine is actually in the saloon area. This one in particular though is very easy to access. I've come across a lot of yachts where access is prohibited, especially on smaller yachts. But as we can see, we can lift off the lid of this engine and have a good look at it. There's also a side panel access there, and if we really wanted to, we can actually unhook the whole front and side, and the whole thing slides out of the way, so you can access every inch of this engine. And on a small yacht, that's actually quite unusual. The other thing as well, from new, the owners had this boat, and he's actually specified the larger engine. So this has got a 30 horsepower Yanmar diesel engine on a sail drive. A lot of 290s, in fact most, came with a Beta 20, but this is the upgraded engine. But still, it doesn't take up any more room than the Beta, and it's good access to the seacocks, to topping up the water, to topping up the oil, to checking the oil, checking the belts. Very good engine access, and this engine from new has only done 260 hours. The other thing I'd like to say as well, that if you're worried about the sail drive as well, don't be, because in 2020 all the sail drive seals were replaced, and that's always something that people has on their to-do list with a sail drive, but it's been done.
So, being a one owner from new boat, as you would imagine, the documentation on this boat is complete. That even includes the original specification sheet. I nearly didn't do this because there's so much, but what we've got on the right hand side of the spec sheet is every single one of the options that you can specify from new. Now this boat actually ticks every single one of the boxes. We'll be running through this at the end, so there'll be a section at the end of this video which will detail everything that this boat's got. But if I just run through very quickly all the options that were ticked on this boat. So, she came with a copper shield treatment, cockpit dodgers, spray hood with a leather grab rail, the name on the boat, steaming lights, deck lights, shore power pack with battery charger, electric windlass chain anchor, radar reflector, teak to the cockpit, and also this boat was upgraded to teak to the side decks as well, which wasn't even on the options sheet. She's got refrigeration, heating. She comes together with a cruising chute and snuffer, spinnaker pole and gear, rod kicker, extra battery, holding tank, jack stays, cockpit harness points, VHF, fully battened mainsail, stacker pack, lazy jacks, and the additional opening hatches onto the deck from the saloon area. So literally every single one of ththese boxes was ticked.
In addition to the options list, we've actually had, what I've already explained, is the engine upgrade from a 20 to a 30 Yanmar. It's actually 29 horsepower. That engine has actually had, like I said before, new anodes fitted to it, as well as new seals to the sail drive, and also it's also got fitted the full Raymarine package, including autopilot and radar. So this boat really does come fully loaded, and I don't think we can emphasise enough how fully loaded this boat is.
So I said earlier that I would come back to the chart table. When we first came on board the boat, there was an extra panel in here with upholstery on top of it. We've removed that, and you can see this can be used as a proper chart table. So you can get your legs under here and do all the work. In terms of the switch panel and everything in instrumentation here, you've got the Navtec system, you've got a battery charger indicator here. It's a really nice feature on that. Not a lot of boats show how much ampage is going into the battery when it's under charge, and I like to be able to see that, and also showing the constant voltage. So if you're at an anchorage somewhere for a long period of time, you can keep an eye on your batteries there. You've got, as Jonathan said, an upgraded Raymarine package and also an ICOM VHF here. In terms of the instrumentation panel, you've got switches here for everything that controls on the boat. Water heater over on this side is the 240 volts, battery charger, and then all of the outlets. You've got a space under here for the charts and plenty of area to map out your journey.
Out in the cockpit area, it offers a very generous amount of space, and again, it's hard to believe this is a 30-foot boat. The actual seats, you can see, are padded and covered both sides, and there's a table in the middle which opens up. The table as well can be moved out of the way, like so, or removed completely. It's on a very nice bracket, and this can be stored then downstairs into a cabin. I really like the way the tiller, you can get pretty much right out of the way, and so it doesn't get in your way when you come on and off the boat. You don't trip over it. You don't have to climb over it either. The other thing as well is when you come on and off the boat, this hatch rear door opens, and now we double as a bathing platform with a boarding ladder, but also if we rear onto a pontoon, it's very easy access. There's no climbing over the boat to get on and off. I also like the cockpit covers. We have what we call the camper cover option on here, so we can enclose ourselves completely, and this now becomes another living area even when it's raining. Also, the port side aft cockpit locker is huge. It's a massive amount of space. We also have a gas bottle section here, so a gas locker here. There is actually a spare gas bottle holder down here, so we've got a spare one. The heating system access is in here as well, and as you can see, as I bend down, I can actually fit in here quite comfortably. There's lots of room in here for all sorts of things, and the cruising chute is kept down here as well. A very good use of space. The other thing I like is the way the teak is laid out. It's actually laid individually, and it's a very nice worked. A lot of work has gone into putting this together.
So here we have a slightly different view of the cockpit, and you can see there's a really nice E80 Raymarine chart plotter here. All of your instrumentation is run through here. On quite a lot of sailing boats, the VHF is only accessible down below. The owner on this boat has thought that through, and up here you've got the option to have an additional ICOM Commander VHF point up at the top here. In terms of sailing the boat, all of the controls, everything you need are really close and easy to hand. So this boat is quite unique because a 29-foot ocean-going sailing boat, but you could comfortably handle her on your own. So everything is here inside this camper cover. Obviously this all comes off and gives you access to all of the instrumentation. Just behind me you can see up at the top there, you've got a full bank of Raymarine equipment. So up there you've got your depth, you've got your wind gauge, you've got your boat speed, and then, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, you've got your autopilot. All really nice, easy access here from the cockpit. It's a nice space. Again, I'm really struggling to believe that this is a 29-foot boat. The space is fantastic. So I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the sailing side of this boat. So she's fitted with a roller reefing foresail, and she also has a fractional 4/5 mainsail. Now the roller reefing on the mainsail all rolls really nicely away and works really, really well. It's incredibly smooth to operate. In 2019 there was a new cruising chute, and also this year all of the rigging has been replaced. Now, a lot of owners of a boat this sort of age don't do the rigging and leave it for the next owner to do, which is a cost you need to factor into that sale price. This boat is already done, totally new rigging in 2020. Something I should have mentioned earlier when talking about the battery indicator is that the boat comes with a solar panel. So even when you're not connected to shore power, you've still got a good charge coming into the battery from the shore power. It's perfect when you're moored up overnight in an anchorage and you know that your batteries are just getting topped up. What you're using is then being used. This boat has already been updated with many LED lights, so again, very energy efficient lights as well. The boat was designed by a designer who builds boats for strength and for speed, and that's something that anybody that does any research on these Sadler 290s will find out. There was actually an article which came out in Yachting Monthly, and I'll post a link to that below the video, which talked about how exceptionally good this boat is to sail, and how the bilge keel actually performs just as well as some similar thin keel counterparts. If you want any more information on the sailing side of this boat, please do get in touch after this video.
As you can see here, I am under the boat, and that obviously means the boat is out of the water. I just want to show you the sail drive. We can see on here that there is actually a bronze feathered 2-blade prop on here. The sail drive anode you can see has been replaced as well, so this is a boat that is ready to go. We can see also that the bottom is copper coated. There's a good coverage on here and it is in good condition, and it just needs prepping before launch. One of the benefits of the copper coat is that you don't have to reapply it every year. We just need to make sure it's all touched up, ready to go and prepared, ready for launch. So this was the 2007 Sadler 290. As you can see, being out of the water, it's ready for any sort of inspection that you'd like to do and ready for viewings.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the boat, take loads and loads of photographs. All those photographs will be available on our website, so I'll put a link onto this video to our website. You'll be able to see all the photographs there, plus a full inventory list on everything that's on this boat. As I said earlier, I'm used to a 36-foot sailing boat, and the moment I went on board this boat I was impressed with not only the space but also the condition of this boat. One owner from new, and he's really loved and cared for this boat. Every surface that could have polish on it has got polish on it and feels fantastic. If you're thinking about one of these Sadler 290s, you need to come and see this boat. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Many thanks.